So overall, findings suggest that dehumanization in marginalized groups is partially due to racial entitlement. Racial entitlement partially mediates the effect between dehumanization and white nationalist ideologies and support for discriminatory policies. And this tells us that racial entitlement may play a more critical role than previously suggested in intergroup attitudes and hostility. Thus, we cannot expect to integrate change into intergroup relations if we do not consider the effect that entitlement, especially racial entitlement, may hold on hostile behaviors presented in racialized identity and violence. Thank you.
Thank you, Cara, for that presentation. As a reminder, all questions and comments will be taken at the very end of the presentations. And if you're just joining us, you can access the full presentation and the measures via the QR code provided. Up next is Andrea Bellavore, who will be discussing the ideas of retroactive intergroup social comparisons, racial burgeoning, and system ambivalence.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Bellavary, and I will be presenting Ambivalence is Bliss. So there are many unique narratives emerging within toxic white identity that suggest an ambivalence towards the American system. These toxic white identifiers have a rather complicated view of America, one that involves strong love for country, but also strong feelings of disenfranchisement within current society. So we see narratives of white suffering circulating in the country. These narratives set up the idea that whites today have it hard. They're suffering at the hands of racism, claiming that whites can't find jobs or make ends meet, and that they're being attacked and murdered daily. There's also a strong narrative around longing for the past. So this harkens back to the good old days when whites had more money, more power, and more opportunities, and when the country as a whole preserved the white majority. And so these narratives usually suggest that we should try to emulate these previous glories within the present day. And finally, we see narratives of basking in the reflected glory of whites' racial achievements. So these claims suggest that the white race built the modern world by being at the heart of great and noble achievements throughout history. So altogether, we see a complexity within toxic forms of white identity. These people feel as though they're currently suffering within the country, but they believe that things can be put right if the country trusts in the white majority and returns to these previously held values, standards, and ways of life. And these ideologies have been gaining traction and visibility. So for instance, we can see the